There were 44 primaries on Tuesday, lots of results, lots to talk about. Here for a closer look at all 44 of them is current columnist, Rick Green, and current reporter Daniela Altamari. Thanks, both of you, for being here. If you would tell me which was the most exciting race for you.
Well, I'll start with Martha Dean because I can't get enough of Martha, and although I did not vote for her, I can't wait to see the election because she'll be full of fun this fall in the Attorney General's race.
Were you surprised at that result?
I think she was the top vote getter among Republicans, beat Ross Garber 60 to 40%. She's kind of on the Tea Party end of things, so yeah, I was a little surprised.
Especially with the whole scandal there at the end, I thought maybe she might, I don't know, lose some
election
votes there.
science problem there.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Not to mention guns for
schools?
Primary school kids.
Gun safety, we should clarify.
Yes.
Daniela, which ones did you, I know that you were here on primary night.
Yeah.
But which races were you watching most closely?
Well, I was watching the U.S. Senate race, but I think most of the action was over in the governor's race. I think that was certainly the one to watch, mostly because, especially on the Democratic side, the polls really had it wrong.
Yes.
Which was always fascinating.
Yeah, you know, Dan Malloy, who was just here, he was saying that he didn't really consider it to be an upset. As some people called it, because you know, the polls had put it kind of neck and neck there in the final days.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing is, I think we have to agree that a lot of money and negative advertising really makes a difference. I mean, look at Linda McMahon and her advertising, and then look at the ads that Malloy was running against Lamont. They really seem to have made an impact this year.
I asked Malloy the other day about whether he would also pick up the whole bib company thing now against Mr. Foley, and he said that was a strategic decision that he hadn't thought about yet, but my inclination is to think that he likely will.
Don't you think, Danielle, he set the table?
So, yeah.
Fidelli set the table for
it was sort of a great Democrats ad, you know, rich guy stiffs the working people, and I think that was kind of an interesting approach on Fideli's part.
Ned Lamont, are we going to see him again, or what?
She's losing 2 statewide elections, not good, and spent, as much as $14 million for the 2 campaigns, something like that. I guess anything could happen against Lieberman in 2 years, right?
Right, that's right. That's another opportunity for him. Linda McMahon, you know, Simmons had been on the show a few weeks ago, and in the end there, I mean, he was really feeling energetic. I know you had spoken to him in the last couple of days. Did you ever think that he was going to pull it off there? No.
Well, sentimentally, I guess it would have been nice to see Rob do a little better, but I think the writing was on the wall. Don't you, Daniela?
Well, I think once he got out, or he curtailed his campaign, then got back in, I mean, it's really tough to do, especially because he didn't really have an organization, which makes it really hard when you're competing against the machine that Linda McMahon has put together.
I mean, he must be thinking now in these days about the whole stepping back and then stepping in. Like, what was that about?
Yeah, but this is a guy who was really hit hard by McMahon, and I think there were a lot of deep feelings there. He felt he was really kind of pushed off the end of the dock kind of thing.
Right,
there.
I agree. So what else do we need to talk about? Secretary of the State race, that was kind of interesting, right? Did you have a chance to meet Jerry Garcia at all?
I didn't. A lot of people were talking about that race. He didn't come as close as some people might have thought he would have, but generated some attention.
Yeah, I mean, he was here on the show a couple weeks ago, and I mean, he was very impressive. I mean, smart guy, appealing, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see him again. What else should we talk about?
Well, I mean, I think we got to ask, with such a low interest in this election, is it going to change in November? I mean, I think it has to.
I think it will.
20 or 25%?
Yeah.
All that advertising and
I know, that's
all
the
we
thing
got?
that was surprising, was that it seemed, I mean, unless you're really into politics for all intents and purposes, you probably thought it was like the regular election, you know, and only 20% people showed up. But
a lot of people aren't paying attention now. They won't until, the middle of October or something?
Right. And that was also a point, the date of the primary, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was on vacation, apparently.
In Nantucket or such.
Yeah.
So going on from here, who do you think, you want to make predictions at this point? Or?
Well, I can get away with it. I'm a columnist, right? But I think Malloy is exceedingly well positioned. I think that he was, the Mike Fideli campaign against Foley really set him up, and I think people have a lot of questions about Tom Foley. And here's a guy from Stamford who's run something.
Right.
He's run a successful city. What has Tom Foley ever run? A company, but not a state.
Right, and I think Malloy also, you know, Mr. Foley's a very nice man, but I think Malloy's very appealing. I
think he's a strong candidate, and I think the McMahon Blumenthal thing, I think she's hard charging, don't you, Danielle?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's been chipping away month after month. I mean, I'm curious to see what the next Q poll shows. Obviously, Simmons is out. Where are those folks going to go? Are the Schiff supporters going to go over to McMahon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be really interesting, but she's definitely got momentum.
What do you think Blumenthal needs to do? Because we both spoke with him yesterday, and one of the columnists had written an article saying he kind of gave the same answer 100 times, which was kind of true. I remember seeing you afterwards, and I said,
I think he's really, his challenge is to convince people that, I'm Dick Blumenthal, you've known me for many years, I've been your public servant for many years, I'm on the side of the people. He's got to convey that, and I think he's starting to already, so we'll see how it plays out.
And then on the other hand, we have to see is there more to Linda McMahon than blah, 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 Blumenthal lied, blah, 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 Blumenthal lied, because that's,
Well, she's also promoted herself as a job creator and as a successful businesswoman and that kind of thing.
Do you think we're going to hear more delving into the whole WWE?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By you? Or?
No, I mean, I just think, obviously, it's going to be an issue out there, and I think the Democrats are going to, already, I mean, hours after the polls closed on Tuesday night, they were, churning out press releases calling her crotch kicker and all kinds of things. So, yeah, it's
I think there's a good question about whether people don't care about it.
That's
it's like
true.
she's been cleansed from it in the primary campaign.
I don't know, because I was remarking that just a few days ago, one of my friends, who's actually pretty politically involved and interested, she saw, it must have been some press release or something that came out that talked about the character now in the WWE who has Down syndrome.
Right.
And she had no idea about it. And I said, where have you been? Like, everybody's been talking about that. So
just
I don't know.
Picking up on it, you mean?
Right, right. Okay. And she was just picking up on it and just, she was appalled by it. And I don't know, maybe as that plays out more, maybe more
I wonder if it could get beyond Blumenthal in Vietnam and McMahon and WWE and talk about real things.
Yeah, we'll have to see, I guess. What about Ross Garber? I thought he ran I don't know.
Pretty honorable, decent guy, but he got smacked, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I thought it was going to be closer, to be honest.
It seemed like it.
I know. I don't know what happened there.
And you got a guy sort of similar to him, the Democratic nominee.
Yes, Jepsen.
Jepsen, more of a moderate, Democrat. We'll see how they handle a campaign against Martha Dean.
I'm looking forward to the debates between McMahon and Blumenthal. I guess she's saying that she even agreed to more than the three that they've announced.
A number of stations are doing it, right?
Yes, yeah.
I think McMahon will come across very well in the debates, and you have
But she didn't come out that great in the first one, remember?
Yeah, but Blumenthal.
But neither did Blumenthal.
Yeah, you have to ask.
Really,
he's got to step up his performance in the debates. I think. Yeah. He's got more to lose. I think.
Yeah.
In some
All right.
ways.
Well, you think the next 13 weeks is going to be as exciting as the past 13 months?
I hope they buy lots of ads.
Yeah. I think they're going to. All right, thanks both of you for being here. Don't forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to fox61.com. You can also watch us on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. We'll see you here again next week.